don't even want to exist that the others are there. In my Father's house, they might say, there is one room, and I am in it. Sadder still are those times when we have seen our sisters or brothers of the household of faith struggling and said to ourselves, serves them right. For Southern Baptists, it's the liberals who take on that attitude. Or for the conservatives, it's the Roman Catholics or the Lutherans or the Presbyterians or the United Methodists or even that number cruncher in California. They deserve everything they've got coming to them, we say. Have you ever thought that our vision is in direct opposition to God's? First, God says there's room for all of us in this big house called the church. And secondly, God tells those of us who have made our home here, who we really are, in a vision that is far better than that of people crunching numbers will ever be able to give us. St. Paul puts it quite plainly. You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a dedicated nation, a people claimed by God, to proclaim the glorious deeds of God who has called you out of darkness into marvelous light. As the church gradually shrinks, and at a preaching conference in Minneapolis, it's clear that the church is shrinking almost everywhere. Dr. William H. Willimon sees a correlation between us and Peter's original audience. Did you see them there? An early group of Christians somewhere in the Mediterranean world gathered in a small house church. How strange those words must have been to those assembled there. There was such a tiny minority, so seemingly insignificant. These titles, a chosen people, a people claimed by God, are not things we can bestow on ourselves, but are given to us by God. We are not a voluntary association. That's a political party or a lodge. We are called a people of God in whom God's Holy Spirit dwells for a purpose. These are not titles to be reveled in, because they come with tasks that need to be taken on, one at a time, with all the gusto we can muster. Dr. Fred B. Craddock reminded us how this works as he looked back over his life and his retirement from being the preaching professor at Cameron School of Theology. He said, I gave my life, but nobody warned me I could not write one big check. I have tried to write 45 years of little checks, 87 cents, 21 cents, $1.03, nibbles away the giving of his life. Are you able to drink the cup? I am able to drink the cup, and in one grand quaff let my life be given. But no. My life is one of drinking a sip here, a sip there, and you see, you reach retirement age, and did anybody notice you gave your life and drank the cup? I am here this day not because I lived in any fear of the end of the world. The fact is, that kind of silly stuff is what kept families like mine out of the church. But because my Uncle Herb, the leader of the unchurched band of Dakin Street Druids that I now affectionately call my family, decided that my neighbor friend should take me to Sunday school because Christianity might be something I should get to know a little about. He had no idea what he was starting. So off I went to God's house, where I met people who not only told me about Jesus, but who showed me in real ways God's love and acceptance. I expect the same is true for you. You are here because someone lived the faith before you in such a way that they didn't try to scare you to death, but instead you saw Christ in them and through them, and you said yes. Some person at home or at work or at school or on the baseball field, someone somewhere proclaimed the mighty acts of God who called you in such a way that you knew you were called. This is the way most of us have experienced faith. Not in the grand gesture or the cataclysmic event, but in the simple act of one who has reached out and held our hand during those times when our hearts were troubled. And by that very act, reminded us of who we were and to whom we belong. We are children of God, residents of God's house, where not only all are welcomed and no one is turned aside, but most importantly of all, where we don't have to waste our time trying to figure out when Christ is going to show up, because he's already here. And for this we say, thanks be to God. Amen.